Last but not least, we have started with Egypt, and we would like to close our discussion with South Africa, with Edgar Petersen. But before this, Saeed, briefly, if you can, I'm so sorry to rush you just a little bit, and Rituj, also Saul from the Rockefeller Foundation. Saeed, the floor is yours, and at 9 p.m. Tokyo time, I would like to pass it on to Dean Sonobe for a final remarks, but also very important information about the next steps of T7. Thank you. Saeed, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicola, and thanks, Dean Sonobe. It's a pleasure to be joining friends and colleagues at rather interesting times. One of the advantages of being lower in the tier of list of speakers, most of the people have said what you would have said, so that makes it easier. I'll just touch base on a few issues which probably did not get highlighted. Even as we speak today, December 12th, 2022, the reality is about 830 million people will go to sleep hungry. About 330 million people are in acute hunger. And World Food Program has asked for funding of $20 to $23 billion to feed 160 million people. While it's important we talk about climate change, energy, all are very, very important issues. Fundamentals is if you don't eat, you don't live. And this was not just exacerbated by the Ukraine crisis. Before that, pandemic, drought, cyclone has been taking a heavy toll. In Afghanistan, parents are selling their children for $1,200 for buying food. That's the kind of reality we are meeting against. I don't want to send a sort of signal of depression, but I want us to get realistic what are the challenges we are facing. So food security is a big issue, which G7, G20 can definitely come together. And in my opinion, two things we need to depoliticize. One is food, second is medicine. We have seen what happened during the pandemic, how during 2 years, unfortunately, there was a clear lack of global leadership. Whether it was US or Europe or China, nobody rose to the occasion. And God forbid there's a second pandemic, we should be better prepared in terms of responding. Third issue, given the time constraint, which also I think needs to be highlighted, I'm glad that our Japanese friend brought out this issue of security and governance and peace. Which other country is in a better position to do that? Japan, because as you know, the only country which really suffered a nuclear attack 78 years back, when 210,000 people perished in a matter of months. Why I'm raising this? We have seen the specter of nuclear rhetoric getting out of control in October, November during the Ukraine war. And Japan, being very close to the Korean Peninsula, is frequently onlooker of missiles flying over its territory. And one little miscalculation can bring about disproportionate amount of suffering, which we should be careful about. So one is the nuclear, second is the non-traditional security risks that we are facing, whether it's cyber, climate migration, internally displaced population. So these are some of the issues which hopefully the task force in which I have the pleasure of working with Jenny and Antonio will be closely looking into and bring some insights. So these are very interrelated issues, cross-functional issues. And given the small time I have, I think given the fact Japan has chosen to make Hiroshima the host city for this year's leadership summit, let me just join me in 5 seconds of silence to show respect to those who lost lives 78 years back, so that we don't forget what happened 78 years back does not happen again. So that will be my initial remarks. And with this 5 seconds, I'll give it back to you, Nicola, so that you have some space to accommodate other speakers. 5 seconds, please. Nicola, you can take it over. Thank you so much. I think our Japanese friend deserves this amount of respect. Nicola, back to you.
Thank you.